Whenever we hit record, we'll get
We're recording right now. First ever podcast.
Day one.
JBS.
Day
JBS.
one. Just BS. So
Also the initials of everything.
I kind of like
Joe,
initials.
Brad, and Steve. Good thing Steve's name is Steve, not
That's
Floyd.
Steve. I'm Brad. That's Joe.
You know, if it was Floyd or Frank, it'd be JBF, and we'd be really screwed, you know?
and
Take on a new connotation, but I like just BS.
I like it. I really
than
am Steve.
JBF.
You really are Brad.
Yeah, I'm really Brad. You're really Steve. You're really Joe.
and
It's better than JBF, though. I like that. So thank you for being Steve.
And there's a lot of interesting news that we've come across over the last several months that has caught my attention that the world needs to know more about, because it appears to me that down in southeast Oklahoma there's a lot going on, particularly down there in McCurtain County, which is, I know that's south of LaFleur County.
Well, why do you think that is? Something in the water?
Haskell County's in there, too.
It's on way down
there.
Way down there. It's down there, right down there next to the border of Texas. And I hear that there's a lot going on from Broken Bow Lake. A lot of people across the river coming north. Might explain some of these headlines that we're going to get into. Some purported criminal activity.
Criminal activity.
And the criminal activity knows no gender. It is, and then
It's binary.
it gets into. I get to asking myself questions about why aren't the and I know there's been a lot of discussion about, defund the police. I'm not into any of that. I don't want to get into any of that.
Not.
No. But I'm wondering how, for instance, an article talks about, and see if you all come across the same observation I came across when I was reading this article about a Broken Bow. This is the first content news article. Broken Bow area woman claims man tried to force his way into her car. I'm literally reading the headline of this article.
Was she in the car?
Yes. And then that begs the question, when you get into the article, it's about 12:20 noontime Monday.
12:30.
12:30.
On a Monday.
12:30 Monday.
I've heard club going up on a Tuesday, but on a Monday, come on.
We're eating lunch,
Yeah.
typically speaking.
Right.
A deputy with the McCurtain County Sheriff's Office was dispatched to a residence, to a home on US 70 just east of the Mountain Fork Bridge. I don't know where that is, comparatively speaking, to Broken Bow Lake, but it's in that area, I'm thinking, because it's a Broken Bow area woman. The call was in response to a woman who claimed while she was checking her mail. So she's checking her mail while in the car. A man walked up and aggressively attempted to get in her car with her in it.
Well, where was her mailbox?
They don't get into
They
that.
don't get into that.
But she was in her car getting her mail.
Checking her mail.
Checking her
Just
mail.
checking her mail.
It doesn't say
She didn't say getting her mail. It says checking her mail.
just to see.
It could be checking email. It could be,
True.
We're thinking now she could have been on her phone checking her email. It's not,
I mean, when I go check my mail, I walk out there to it.
Right.
And really, I understand checking, because I will flip through looking for something substantive. You get all these mailers that mean nothing. You get Bed Bath and Beyond. Well, those mean something because those are coupons, right? Or coupons.
they call that junk mail.
They never expire, though.
Or something that your wives can go spend money on.
I'm thinking that's what she was doing while she was checking her mail. How many of us have had a mail check when someone aggressively attempts to, instead of being in your car, climb on your back?
Not this year.
Hasn't happened to me in a while.
I can't think of a time I've had a dog run up on me.
Yeah.
So she makes a call to the McCurtain County Sheriff's Office, and they literally send out this person, this deputy. And I guess what happens was she was successful in fending off the person trying to get into her car because she was able to make the call. Right?
Right.
I mean, if he was successful in aggressively trying to get into her car and, in fact, got into her car, it sounds to me like she would not have been able to make the call.
Right. But
We in agreement?
he didn't get in the car, though.
He didn't get in the car.
So upon arrival, the woman told the officer, the suspect. Now, this is, I guess, the person that aggressively tried to get into her car. She describes the suspect. You see that, Brad? Mm-hmm. She says he had been wearing glasses.
Had been.
Now, my English teacher would have said had is in the past. So was he wearing glasses at the time?
Right.
He had been wearing glasses. Maybe she knocked him off his head.
He had long hair.
Another
Long,
past
dark
tense.
hair. Had long dark hair.
So
did he decide to shave it? I mean, come on.
And she believed he got in a she believed he got in a 4-door white
Believed
car.
also in the past tense.
She believed I believe he got in a 4-door white car after aggressively trying to get in my car with a dent in the rear bumper.
No license plate. We found the dent, but we didn't get the license plate. Did he have a license? Well, maybe it does say here.
Sounds like she might have known him.
Sounds like she, something's fishy here.
How does she come with the conclusion that he is headed towards Eagletown, according to the report she gives to this McCurtain County deputy?
Right.
And then what does the deputy do?
Oh, the officer saw a white male with glasses and shaggy hair in a front passenger. It gets good right here.
All right, so
This is the real meat and potatoes.
Well, let's hear it.
It gets better and better.
where in the world would, in this day and time, this is the first question I have, before he even goes to Eagletown, where in the world would you find such a deputy that is willing to take his time on that day to go on a rabbit chase? Because all he's got is a guy wearing glasses, or had been wearing glasses, had longer dark hair. Brad, you got longer dark hair.
I got longer dark hair, yep.
And she believed he got in a 4-door white car with a dent in the rear bumper. You know
No
how many,
license plate, but it had a dent.
how many people have a dent in their rear bumper? A lot.
Yeah.
I got a dent in my rear bumper.
I think she knows this guy.
Good point. That's a Columbo. The officer left statements for and then goes to Eagletown. Go figure.
How far is Eagletown?
I don't know.
I don't know.
We ought to go down there and see sometime.
Well, I want to go visit Mudline Road too. Main Street and Mudline. That's what I want to be on that corner.
Well, in fact, that's where he meets up.
That's where he meets up with him. I know. That's what I'm saying.
The deputy saw a small car, which he first believed. Now, the deputy sees a small car, and the deputy first believes that car's white. First contact, white.
Right.
Now he's connecting dots. I bet he's got his notepad out on his seat, and he's looking. White. That's a white car. He's in Eagletown. She said the car was going to Eagletown. He first believed it was white, but as he passed it, he saw the car was in fact what? Not white.
It was faded.
It was faded silver.
That could have been white.
Well, I mean, is that probable cause? You've heard that fancy term.
Yeah.
But as he passed it, he saw it was a faded silver. The officer saw a white male with glasses and shaggy hair in the front passenger seat. And as the car passed, the officer noted the car had what? A dent.
A dent.
So let's think about what has happened thus far. What's happened thus far is we got a woman that claims a man tried to force his way into her car. She says that he got in a 4-door white car with a dent in the rear bumper. Now, what we don't know thus far is how old's the guy, what's his color,
28 years old.
Is he black, white, red? What is he? Did he get into a car? Who all was in the car? We don't have any of that information.
Right.
That's why I'm wondering why he stopped and decided to pursue this car, right?
Right.
So let's get to the.
Are y'all thinking?
Yeah.
It's McCurtain County's finest, or Eagletown's finest.
What did the officer do? He turned around to catch up with the car. The car had what? An Arkansas tag. That has got to be suspicious.
And a dent.
And a dent.
You got an
A dent.
Arkansas tag and a dent, and that passenger right there has got shaggy hair with glasses.
Right.
I got something to talk to you about, right?
Right.
I bet that's what that deputy's thinking.
Were they sunglasses?
Good question. We need more information. Let's get into it. All right. What goes on here? What do you think's going on have you ever been pulled over?
Yes.
Brad,
Been pulled over.
I don't like the feeling.
No.
I actually got my car towed last time I got pulled over. I've been pulled over twice in my whole life. And they had been within a quarter mile of each other by a police officer and his son. His son was in the same department.
They both got you?
They both got me. That's the only two times I've been pulled over. And they were within a quarter mile of each other.
See what
3 blocks.
A small town?
No, my hometown, it's about 100,000 people. Campus town, yeah. But no, it's a scary little thing. I actually got my car towed because I had a,
Do we need to get into that?
No, it wasn't anything. They inventoried my car. What it was I had an expired tag that was 90 days out.
That's what happened to me.
And it's, it was like, the guy goes, "You got to get out of the car." I was like, "What in the world?" I thought he was going to frisk me. I thought, all this. I had a friend in, and we were actually going to play golf. And I was like, "What's going on here?" Oh, sir, you have an expired out. I need to take an inventory of all your things. Well, in it, I just changed my bank account, and I had blank checks. And I was like, "Oh, if he sees that, he's going to really die." But it was just funny. No, I've been pulled over twice. It's a scary situation.
I've yet to ever be pulled over and get a good feeling.
I agree.
So I'm wondering, as these fellas from Arkansas have found their way into Oklahoma, what they're thinking when they see the guy, the deputy, not the guy, the deputy,
right,
come in pursuit. I bet he's got his lights on because there's no other way to stop a car.
Right.
Well, I like what he does after. I mean, let's get to the meat and the potatoes of this article. It really gets going. And
why don't you read it?
He
has the guy step out of the car and stand in a ditch.
In a ditch.
In a ditch.
Have you ever had that happen?
No.
Luckily, there's pavement where I've gotten pulled over. Very nice pavement. There's a nice house, churches there too.
Well, the officer is talking to dispatch that apparently once he got this fella out of the car, and I'm assuming this is the guy with the long shaggy hair with glasses, that poor fella had a misdemeanor warrant for failure to appear on a drug charge. You see that? And the officer took the man into custody.
In what state did he have those charges?
That doesn't say.
Huh.
It's much anyway. The suspect denied. Oh my gosh. So as the officer took the guy into custody, in the car seat where this fella had been sitting, the officer noticed a small amount of a loose white crystalline substance consistent with
Methamphetamines.
methamphetamine. The devil's drug.
Yep.
The suspect denied ownership of the powder. Now,
He was driving it, though.
he was a passenger, I think. Was he a passenger? The passenger in the vehicle identified himself as a 28-year-old Locksburg, Arkansas man. The officer noted, now see, this ties into the crystalline substance.
Right.
His pupils were pinpoint. What's that tell you?
They were enjoying their crystals.
Or it's bright as hell outside.
That's why he had the sunglasses.
That's why he had the sunglasses.
Yeah.
See, now he's going to get charged with cover-up, obstruction of justice because he had his sunglasses on, trying to hide your pinpoint pupils.
He begged the officer to let him snitch.
And it's just
Whoa.
it's just getting.
It just gets better and better.
The officer had the driver of the car step out, and that's the guy that stands in the ditch is the driver.
Ooh,
Is he the one that accosted the lady with the mail?
We don't know yet.
Ah.
But what I'm giving kudos to is the deputy that took the time out of his day to not only go take the report at the mailbox, leave paperwork with the poor woman that was aggressively scared by this guy, this guy. But then he takes off after him, and he has no real information other than what we know, right?
White car, dented bumper. May have had glasses.
The officer had the driver step out and stand in the ditch. He put the suspect in cuffs and in the caged area of his cruiser. That becomes important later because that guy does some funny things with those cuffs.
With the handcuffs?
Yes. I've read about them.
Was he handcuffed in front or back?
Well, it doesn't say, but the article seems to imply back because he's going to do something later.
Okay.
We're going to get to it. The officer returned to the car and scraped up as much of the unknown substance as he could, and he poured it into a manila envelope. Chain of custody. He's gathering evidence. He's gathering his case. I'll bet you if you talk to that deputy right then in that moment and said, how much you want to bet that that's the guy that got that tried to get in that woman's car at the mailbox, I'll bet you he would say, I'll bet you 10 to 1 odds I got the guy.
I agree.
You agree?
Yeah.
Brad?
Definitely.
10 to 1?
10 to 1.
The driver of the car had a valid license. So the guy over in the ditch, he now goes to him. He's got a valid license. He's driving that car lawfully. Had no warrants and was released at the scene. The question I have, in releasing him at the scene, he had a white crystalline substance in the car.
Right.
So he could have said possession. Because what's possession? 9/10 of the law, right?
Right. But the other guy claimed it, right?
Well, hell no. He didn't claim it. He didn't know what it was. He's denying anything. Which is what I would do. I would say the truth, Brad.
That's right.
I mean,
I don't think truth's on these guys' minds.
No.
maybe it's creamery. Maybe it's creamer for his coffee. We didn't read anything about coffee. So the officer took the suspect back to the woman's residence. This is where I would like to interview the deputy because he's got this guy in the back of the car. This guy does not know what the deputy knows as the deputy is taking him back to the potential crime scene.
Right.
And so I wonder what the conversation is. As they're driving back, do you think the deputy's pimping him on, you got some kind of affinity
you know he is.
for women in cars checking their mail?
Right.
The officer then took suspect back to the woman's residence and asked her to look at him.
Why didn't he take both of them back to the woman?
Good question. The driver.
Right.
Because he had a valid license. He didn't have no warrant. But this is where it falls apart.
Okay.
The deputy gets the wrong answer. Ma'am, I can see how this goes down. Ma'am, look at this guy. Now, in a lineup, no one's holding on to anybody.
Right.
Because that infers guilt.
Right. Right.
Well, I got to believe that with the deputy saying, ma'am, look at this guy. Is this the guy that assailed you at your mailbox while you were in the car? You got to know he's thinking, hell yes, it is. That's her. That's him.
Right.
She says, not sure.
I'm telling you, I think it was the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
The guy with the valid license.
Yep.
Valid license.
While transporting now, so this guy's been cleared. Essentially. I mean, think about it. If you were a lawyer and you ask the deputy at a preliminary hearing or whatever those hearings are, trial, deputy, what did that woman tell you when you presented my client to her? She wasn't sure. She wasn't sure that was the assailant.
Correct.
That's ball game.
Right. Done. Go home.
What jury in their right mind is ever going to convict that guy for assailing that woman when she says, I can't be sure? When she gave the description.
Right. So did they release the guy right there?
No, the guy he's transported. Remember, there's an outstanding warrant.
Right.
That outstanding warrant.
So did his buddy pick him up?
That outstanding warrant was a misdemeanor. No, it could have been a parking ticket.
Right.
Right? That he just didn't pay. No, what happens is they transport this 28-year-old to the county jail. And the suspect.
What county are we in down there?
I think we're still in McCurtain.
Curtin County.
The suspect starts begging. Now, I can't put myself in this guy's situation because I've never been in the back of a police car.
What's he begging for?
He's going to snitch.
Think
How
he's
do
a
you
snitch?
know that?
Snitch. Says it right here.
But you don't know that at the time when he's begging.
Oh, yeah, he's looking for a way out.
My God, he's begging to let him snitch on someone.
Give him a cup of coffee. Come on.
He's begging to be a snitch.
He's actually asking the officer if he can snitch on someone.
He's begging.
Wow.
He's begging to snitch on someone to get out of
Scoob and
going.
Fireball. He's snitching on Scoob and Fireball. Don't know who Scoob is.
Scoob and Fireball.
That's apparently the guys he wants to do.
So my question is,
Apparently, Scoob, Fireball, and this guy do not get along because he's throwing them right, He's digging deep.
What does Scoob and Fireball do for a living?
Well, they're obviously drug dealers.
well, according to the 28-year-old suspect,
Do you think they drive a white car with a dent in the bumper?
I bet they got a dent in
They
the car.
got a few dents in the bumper, I'm sure.
They may have a bump on them too.
That,
Right.
That's
few
drug
dents in
talk.
the teeth.
What does a bump mean?
head,
So he starts begging the officer to let him snitch on someone to get out of going to jail. The officer told the Arkansas man that, see, this is where it loses me a little bit. The officer told the Arkansas man that he had admitted to being a drug dealer in the past, was a registered sex offender, and had warrants, plural, for his arrest.
The guy in the back of the car?
Yes, warrants, plural.
No wonder he's begging.
Yep.
The officer told the man, I can see him looking back at him. There was no way they would use him for information. The suspect kept naming people involved in the drug trade. I mean, how would you like to be Scoob?
Yeah, what about Scoob and Fireball?
The only Scoob I know is Scooby.
You think that's their real names?
Fireball?
On their birth certificate? Probably not.
Claiming he could
McCurtain
get
County.
the officer anyone he wanted. This guy.
Right.
The officer again said no, and the man said he knew he could get dope from Scoob because he had just gotten a phone message from him. What'd the officer do? Reaches back and grabs that suspect's cell phone.
How was he looking on his cell phone with his hands handcuffed behind his back?
Dang good question.
Yeah. He's a contortionist.
As the deputy arrived at the county jail, took the 28-year-old out of the back of the caged area of his truck, he noticed again, the suspect had slipped the handcuffs to the front from under his feet.
He was a contortionist.
That takes some talent.
Man.
So think about that. How do you do that? How do you do that? Without the officer knowing.
Right. He's probably in a seatbelt too.
There was a noticeable amount of a white crystalline substance on the floor of the cruiser, which the officer knew was not there before because he had recently vacuumed the floor after the person he arrested earlier had hidden some leaves and tracked them into the caged area of the truck.
Don't they vacuum their car every time they go out?
Well, being 2020, I would think that they would be very COVID,
Right.
vacuum it every time.
Right. Yeah.
It's going to be the nicest area this guy's going to be in a while.
This white crystalline
You need
substance.
to have it nice and clean for him.
He could have Scooby in the back seat.
Scooby could be next or Fireball.
Can you imagine what's going to happen to this guy once this hits the press? I wonder if this suspect thought that Scoob and Fireball's names are going to be attributed to him in a newspaper article in days to come following
Yeah,
his arrest.
Scooby and what Fireball aren't too happy now.
Okay, I mean, there's only one Scoob, and there's got to be only one Fireball down there.
Right.
Everybody knows who he's talking about.
Right.
I bet you there was not a defamation lawsuit filed.
You think they actually hired a lawyer to take care of it?
I'm wondering, at the end of the day, this guy does need a lawyer because
Right.
how all this went down is suspect.
Right. I'm talking about Scooby and Fireball, though. I think they took care of
They're-
things another way.
They're clear out of town. By
They
now.
got- they got-
because if these guys aren't either out of town after seeing your
Look,
name
if they're not in jail, they got lawyers. They got
Right.
really good
they,
lawyers.
Right.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the officer told the suspect that before they went into jail, he needed to tell him if he had any substances on him or not. The officer told him he was being charged with possession of a CDS. That's a controlled dangerous substance. From what the officer found in the car and in the back of his unit, and that if he went into jail with anything else, it would be a felony charge. And the Arkansas man told the officer he never had any meth. That's being pretty presumptuous.
Pretty presumptuous, huh?
And the whole charge was bullshit.
Wow.
Well, that is a motivating factor for the deputy. He's now being accused of BS.
Right. And he's already found it twice, right?
Right. I mean,
Once in the car down in the second town.
the officer spread the good word about this guy when he took him into jail because he told the jailer he believed the suspect had something on him and to watch him.
Watch him.
Now, not good to be a snitch going into a McCurtain County jail because the folks that are in that jail, I would assume, are criminally charged people, some with dope charges.
Right.
They may know Scoob.
Scooby may be in there.
I didn't even think Fireball could be in there.
Right. Imagine reading the paper the next day in
After
jail.
God, it gets terrible. After parking his truck, the deputy went back into the jail in the suspect's left boot. This guy can't get away from it. He located more loose white crystalline
That's
substance.
3 times
Yes.
on this one guy in like 2 hours.
When the officer went to vacuum out the caged area of his unit, he also found a broken glass smoking pipe with a burnt white crystalline residue. It's everywhere.
Wow.
I mean, this guy is like Johnny Appleseed dropping apples. You know, the seeds make apples.
Right.
I mean, instead of seeds, it's crystalline.
So why did he need the lady's mail in the first place?
See, you ask the best questions. Now, here's what I wonder. When you go to officer training school and you're being taught how to field test a substance, I wonder what the difference in a field test for meth is versus a field test for cocaine.
Wow, I have no
Change
idea.
of colors.
That's it, really?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Is it a change of taste? Do they make you?
They don't taste the stuff. Come on, they put it in a little baggie. You don't watch like Cops and all those like good shows on TV.
So they don't put it on. Yeah, that's hot.
It's only criminal defense attorneys do that. They taste
And
that.
then it disappears.
Yep, it's gone.
Now you
No evidence.
You just upset a lot of criminal defense lawyers.
Did I?
Yes.
Did that come?
Well, I mean,
You never know. How else would they know? They were like,
we're not name dropping.
Nope.
did we? What? Okay.
All
I apologize to all criminal defense attorneys.
I pardon you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
hold on. This show ain't
How do they test them?
this show ain't about apologizing. We're just getting the BS out.
We're getting the BS out of it. Yeah, but I was just saying they got a little baggies. So
What happened next, and what happened to the lady?
Yeah.
What happened to the lady? That's what I want to know.
So, two things happen.
Okay.
One, the guy gets charged, and he remains in the jail.
Because of all the meth he had. Crystalline
He's- yeah, yeah, yeah.
substances. Found 3 times.
The lady that goes out to her mailbox,
Yeah.
she hadn't been out to the mailbox since. I'm thinking.
she's hiring somebody. You know what we should send her? Those little things that tell you when your mail has come.
You got mail?
Yeah, the little. Well, it's like a little thing.
You got
Click it
mail.
out. Yeah, it
Yeah.
dings in the house when that way she doesn't have to check her mail. This whole thing wouldn't have happened.
That's right.
So this is Broken Bow.
Well, I'd like to, wish Elvin Flood a belated birthday for November 26th as well. And some other news: there were 630 cattle that were sold in
Where?
in the county that day as well.
That same McCurtain County?
McCurtain County.
Wow.
That's your news for the day.
I like it.
The
Elvin
cattle
had a birthday.
The cattle were sold, not stolen.
No, it said total head of cattle sold. I was looking at this. I kind of like this.
Oh, I love these newspapers.
These old newspapers.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna
dive into some more of that.
Yeah.
we're gonna move from Broken Bow to Ida Bell.
Okay. In our next segment.